appreciate you guys joining the call. It's almost time. The host should be, I mean, the guys will be here and everything. But for the meantime,
All right then.
what are you doing now?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Oh, honestly. Yeah. How about you too?
Yeah, I mean, of course now, every day we keep pushing. No other, no other option. What have you been up to?
Well, yeah. I've been in the journey ever since. Not giving up. Been through a lot of ups and downs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have Ochuko here. So I don't know, maybe we
Yeah.
have to. Yeah, Ochuko, welcome.
Hi, Henry.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me. How can you
Yeah.
do?
Hi. Good afternoon.
of course. Yeah, how are you doing now?
I'm doing okay. Thank you. How about you?
Yeah, I'm also doing very, very fine. As far as there. So I don't know, should we wait for others to come in or we should just continue? Because some people are saying they're coming in, but I think network is giving them issues. Yeah, okay. So, quite enough people coming. Alright, so I think we just have to start. We don't have time. So, welcome everyone to this meeting. Talking about technical writing and the way forward. Right. Let me do a brief intro about our boss here, Ochuko. Right. So Ochuko is a technical writer at GitHub, and he currently runs a company called Request Mechanic. He currently runs a company called Request Mechanic. So in case if you need any help, dealing with your car or trying to understand how your car works, his company does that. You can reach out to him on Twitter, on LinkedIn. If you go to my profile, I posted one of their posts, so you can follow them and then reach out to them. Also, I got to know Chuko from a guy called um, Wale, other kind of stuff, right? So Chuko is just like tell us about technical writing. If you have any question, please you can ask him. But the next thing I'm going to do right now is for him to tell us how we got into it and his journey into the world of technical writing. Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to take off the gum I'm chewing because that's a bit impolite, but anyways. Um, yeah. How I got into technical writing. I'm just going to say thank you for bringing me to this session. Um, I'm always happy to share information to people who need help in some way or the other. So yeah. For my own career, how I started technical writing actually was a software engineer still. I'm still a software engineer till now. Actually, aspired to kind of work for like the big tech companies that everyone wants to work for, the Microsofts, the Googles, and the likes. But like in my secondary school days, I used to be very crazy about making games, like building, mobile games, PC games, and the likes. So I think that drew my attention, just because I was able to easily showcase these things and be quite happy, with the way people react to them. Be it like my parents, TMI who didn't want me to kind of do this whole tech thing, who wanted me to kind of be more in like the medical field and where they could see more of my contributions to society. Well, yeah, I felt like the game aspect was something that I could actually show people and have them enjoy, rather than explain something that they don't get, which I built. Um, you know, So yeah, I felt like that kind of was my drive. Started building games, trying to launch with a couple of friends in secondary school, and then when I got into Unilag, started focusing on kind of the coding skills to actually make those game mechanics work better. And then I moved a bit into building web technologies, started learning like the Django's and the popular frameworks, started getting into the Twitter banters about how everybody hates JavaScript, and at least for the Python folks like me, why we all hate JavaScript and probably stick with Python, or just like, you know, do bootstraps, stuff. Anyways, Yeah, so started working with web. Got to meet a couple of friends that were doing pretty well. Already getting like some remote jobs. While I was in like my first year, and yeah, I started listening to some of their advice, trying to get my own job as well, trying to apply those skills in real world problem solving scenarios that made sense to kind of like where I was going. And started building like a resume around that. So I got a couple jobs, really starter friendly jobs, some were like internships and the likes. So yeah, I started focusing on doing that. And then within these jobs, one of the jobs that I worked, this was during COVID. They started having some requirements in terms of explaining what exactly our really small team at the time built. Um, so we wanted to kind of explain the architecture of what we were building to different people. Sometimes be it like the high level management. Sometimes it could be just other devs joining the team trying to understand how everything works. But most times, when we concluded a project, because we're building a lot for different clients, we needed to kind of explain how that project works, more like a product spec for the consumer, like the clients themselves. And oftentimes, we might find ourselves doing a lot of documentation for that. Devs hate doing that, at least before. So I had to kind of take up that task. I had to do it for free. I wasn't getting paid for that, like as an extra thing. But I started pushing out some documentation to some of these clients. So I had COVID as well. I had a friend. We've known each other for quite a while, but he reached out to me and he told me about a platform called Hashnode. I think Hashnode just started in around 2019, 2020, and they were having like a lot of community programs where they wanted people to start writing and telling people stories about what they're doing. So there were a lot of challenges. So my friend Solomon, he put out like a post talking about like encryption algorithms and the likes. And so that was a very amazing piece for me to read because it actually also improved some of the work I was doing. So I realized that okay, maybe I should do something like this, right? So I wrote my own first piece, and this was on Django geolocation and you know basically GeoDjango using Django as a database that handles geospatial data. So yeah, that was the very first one I've written because it wasn't quite popular. A lot of people thought about geospatial data as real time um, data that didn't really need to be always stored, but like constantly retrieved. So relying on things like Google Maps more often. So I wrote that piece and it did pretty well, got a lot of support from my friends. And it just like replicated that exact same feeling I had when I was building games, where I could build something and easily showcase it and get people actually, you know, get value from that on the go. And then it was like a compressed way of actually explaining something to people without having to expend energy every single time. So for example, if Kelechi asked me about encryption algorithms and I was like, okay, I'm going to help you on encryption algorithms, I'm going to explain how this works. And then the next person asks me the exact same thing, and then the next person, I'm probably going to run out of energy and probably not explain it in the exact same way. So I feel like technical writing was like the solution for this. And as I began to volunteer to different organizations and associations like the my developer student club, I was a tutor there for a while for Python. I found that I started to do more and more writing, started to get more excited about how people benefited and talked about some of the stuff that I was teaching and how it helped them. So yeah, and after that, I kind of took up a bunch of gigs that came up at the time from different organizations looking for people to explain their architecture. So this was just an extension of what I was doing for free at my own company, but I started doing it for other companies for their products. Some of them were US based, some of them were Nigerian companies. So yeah, all of that, dabbled in a bunch of them, and started getting some full time roles as well. And I guess the rest is history. I think like my most recent role is GitHub, where I create content for people who want to get certified for like the skills that they want to show expertise in the real world too. So if you're like a software engineer and you're trying to show that you have automation skills, we create learning content that you could use to prepare for the certification exams for actions. Or if you're like a GitHub starter and you want to show that you have some, foundational knowledge in GitHub, we create content for that. And you can find some of all this content on MSN and the likes. And also video content. That also includes video content like webinars, YouTube shorts, stuff like that. So yeah, you can see technical writing is actually quite rewarding, and it covers a really broad aspect, depending on the need. Yeah.
Oh wow, interesting. Now, does anybody have a question to ask before I ask my question? Just raise your hand or just unmute yourself if you have any questions. Alright, Chima, you can speak.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Ochuko. Hope I got that right.
Yes. Hi, Timmy.
Okay, okay, I'm doing great. I wanted to ask you a question. Like, how was the interview process for GitHub? Like, how the technical writers interview goes? Like, how do you do the interview process? Always like it's always like software engineering interviews.
No. Um. So it all depends. It depends on like this on what the company is looking for in
Okay.
particular. Um. And also depends on the hiring process as well. I think the team always takes precedence on that. If you're being hired for a role where you would need to do a lot of software engineering, alongside technical writing, or you need to at least have the knowledge, then you would be tested one way or the other on these software engineering things that you claim to know. But if it's simply just about writing and communication skills, then sometimes you get tasks and the likes to, see how well you're writing or what point your writing skills are at. And then how, if you're like someone that can easily learn and improve over time, and you see some of these companies will actually like, oh, you have like links to like your previous work. Sometimes it's not really about judging that your work is the best, but it's also about judging if your work is evolving, right? So if
Yeah.
someone's asking you for links for your previous work, and is dating, when you publish them on these platforms, there are like dates on them, and your work is getting worse, or there's no like significant improvements, or
Improvement.
it's not
Yeah.
getting, you should be worried. So it should be something you should work on. But for GitHub in particular, I had like multiple interview process. If I remember, it was about 3 interviews. It was quite short. So the first one was more on my getting to know me. The second one was a bit on like my working principles, communication skills, those kinds of things. And then the final interview was majorly on like my writing processes, how I write, how easy I make my writing process replicable. Like, can I do it every single time in the same way? And can I also tweak it easily to improve? And yeah, how do you think about documents? How do you think about learning in general? How do you think about the communities as well? Because GitHub is open source, so it's also like community based as well. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much.
Alright. So, does anybody have any other question? Nobody? Alright, so I have a question actually. So, talking about topics, technical topics. I mean, yes, the meeting is recorded, please. So, talking about technical topics, what are the things we can actually write about? I mean, everybody's talking about AI, blah blah blah. AI can replace us and that kind of stuff. So anything I want to write about now, people can just go to ChatGPT and ask it, Alpha, summarize this topic for me, and then ChatGPT will summarize it for them. Then if I write that same topic again, why should someone want to come and read my own page that is almost 5 pages, and the ChatGPT that just only one scroll, that kind of stuff. So talking about topics, what type of topics should we write on for us to be like experts in this thing, or for us to like go far? I don't know how I'm going to put it, but for us to be an expert and people take us serious, what topics do you think we can write about?
So I'll usually say that in every single field, people care about who the person that is talking is. Say for example, in I don't know if it's still really like everybody looks at the same thing the same way, but like in the past when we didn't have like AI, when we didn't have like open AI, we didn't have like chat GPTs or the Geminis and the likes. um, I think on Medium, Stack Overflow, those were like really popular platforms at that time. So you could see like you have an issue when you're writing code or you're building something, and then you see that, oh, someone at Microsoft, or someone at Google, or someone at Andela, some of these big companies have probably like written like a tutorial or something covering that, or some engineer that has the relevant experience. So I usually say that you should write about something that you have expertise in, or you have enough interest to get the expertise you need in. Um, yeah, people always want to talk to people or learn from people that they are sure know what they are doing. Let's take for example, let's say um, we had like let's say we had like a blog from Eminem, right? Eminem is like the greatest rapper alive. So if we had like a blog from Eminem about building like your rapping skills, like learning how to dissect hip hop and create winning albums and the likes. A lot of people are going to listen to that, and a lot of people are going to read it. Even though there is Chat GPT, and you could easily just go to Chat GPT and just like generate it, right? The fact that you could trust in the person who is writing and scrutinizing these things, because it's attached to their reputation as well. So as writers, your reputation is at stake, as well as what your expertise is, right? So when you have the reputation, you're going to do good things, and when you have the expertise, you're going to scrutinize whatever AI gives you. So yeah, I think that also plays a part in when people talk about AI. There's a lot of like best practices when it comes to regulating what AI does. Um, you know does it give you the right answers? Do you correct it? Those kinds of things anyways. So yeah, write about topics that you are an expert on, or you are interested enough to be an expert on. Build that reputation online, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Tell people that you know what you're talking about. Show people that you know what you're talking about. And yeah, you find that in the long run, you find that you have a lot more to talk about in that space, and it's just like become really easy for you.
Okay, one more question. Okay, someone raises their hand. Adam, can you go on?
All right, please, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
yes, I can hear you.
All right, yeah. Talking about building reputation. I believe you already have that reputation now, and people will be willing to listen to you. But including me, yeah, including myself. And but the question I want to ask is, how long have you been doing this software before you began your technical writing?
Okay, so like I said, I started doing software engineering as a whole, in like, I don't know, SS1. So I think in somewhere in total it's about 7 8 years now. I can't really count, but I started writing in around like the, let's say, third, fourth year mark, of like my software engineering years. Just like early in university, around my second year. Um, so yeah, I think that once you think you have enough knowledge to write on a certain topic, you're good. There's no definite time to say, oh, your first year or your second year. Usually, when you're writing about something, I have a friend, and this is a very good example. I have a friend that reached out to me in 2021 or 2022. I can't exactly remember the exact year. So he reached out to me. He was like, "Oh, this coding thing. He wants to be a part of it. He wants to learn." And I gave him some resources, and he was learning. And he was like, "Okay, he's really struggling. He wants to kind of make money. He knows that software engineering is going to take a while before someone believes in his skills and hires him and those kinds of things. But he still needs to make money to like keep himself going." So I told him, "Okay, maybe you try technical writing, maybe see if you could, build some audience off of that. Maybe see if there are people who trust that you have the writing skills for that, or just people who are looking for the knowledge that you're willing to teach." So he started writing, and mind you, he was like really early. He wasn't up to 1 year in software engineering. But he had learned like the basics of like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and he was building like a bunch of projects. So the problem is that as he started building some of this, I started building some of these projects. He didn't have full knowledge of like JavaScript or the likes, but he had full knowledge of building these projects, and so he was writing project-based tutorials, right? And so, for example, you're trying to build a calculator. That is actually his biggest tutorial. I think that went viral a bit. A lot of people read that. Over like 100,000, 200,000 people read that. And that was really good feedback and support, and also really good rep for him. And it's very simple, like calculator. Why didn't I think of that? Me that I've been writing before him. But yeah, it's something that he really mastered. I really liked his approach on how he did it. And I could see the growth over time. I think his first or second writing gig was from Stack Overflow. So he started writing for Stack Overflow, was earning some good money from there as well. And right now he works with me. I request mechanic as a dev, front end, and also still works as a technical writer in some other company. And yeah, happily ever after, I guess.
Yeah, one more thing, please. During your internship, was your internship based on creative writing, or you had internship in software related stuff and then you volunteer for that?
My internship wasn't a technical writing one; it was software. And then my internship was just about building. To an extent, I think maybe they might have exploited me a bit, but I feel like internships are all about learning as well. So I was helping build from the get go. I was building really, really, let's say, bad projects um, that no one was there to scrutinize because, you know, our team was really small, and not when there's not enough senior devs, everyone just do things that work. So I was doing things the wrong way sometimes, and I was finding out anyways afterwards. So I would say my internship was like majorly a learning by doing experience. I was just building and building and building and building, and they sell the ones that are really good, and the ones that are not so good. No one talks about that experience. Um, no one talks about that project anymore.
Yes, yes, please. So talking about reputation. Now, for instance, now, um, when you started writing, when you started writing like from scratch, nobody knew you write. If you post on Twitter, maybe I mean like 10 views or maybe 5 views. Now, compared to now, whereby I made a post about our meeting, right, and I think I have 15 engagement, 15 views. And the way when I tagged you to the post, it was going to have 500, 600. Now, how am I supposed to build a reputation that people will listen to me, even as I'm starting right now? Is there something that you guys are doing at the back that we don't know about? Just like tell us about it.
So to be honest, I think the biggest advice or the best advice anyone can give you is having like a network. Um, yeah, having like a network. But when I think about it, there are other aspects that come into play aside from just having a network. But let me just focus on this part first. Now, your network is your friends, your close friends, your professional friends, people that know you or know what you're doing, your family. Those kinds of people are your network, and you should be able to utilize your network. So let's say, for example, I have something to promote. At least the people that know me should be able to help promote that. They should be tweeting, they should be liking, they should be sharing what I'm doing. So that is one way of getting, into your network. Um, I know that there are a couple people that helped in the very when I posted um, my very first tutorial. There was DD codes, and then there was Geek Tutor. So Geek Tutor posted that we posted that tutorial, and then Didi Codes later really liked the next one that I had written, because she saw it through Geek Tutor. And then you find out there are some really high network individuals that have like a massive network that if they like what you're doing or they see it through someone, then you're growing your reputation, right? If you keep consistent. And that was like also bringing to like the consistency thing I wanted to talk about, like the other aspects that come in play. But yeah, a good example of like the network thing is like everybody. I don't know if everybody knows this story about how Ashake came into limelight. Like he's been doing music for a while, and then there was this his friend Yemoli
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Olamide, and the rest is history, anyways. So he has been promoting his stuff for a while, telling Olamide, and you know, he has been hearing about it, but eventually he engaged with that, and the rest is history. So the best people that you might be able to help you are probably closest to you. Some of them might have the opportunity, but they may not be able to do those things. They might have access to those people that you need, or access to a larger network that you need. So you should be able to at least do that. At least if you can convince the people that are really close to you and know you, and they'll probably just help you because maybe not they don't really believe in what you're doing, they just believe in you as a person. Um, that's easier than convincing somebody that doesn't know you at all and doesn't really care what you're doing. And then over time, where you stay consistent in doing that exact same thing, you would eventually get to a larger network and larger network um, in time. So there are other things that comes in play, but I think the rest is probably self-learned. These two things, consistency and utilizing your network. People call it show what you're doing, tell us what you're doing. Like, you know, that is the most important aspects of growing your reputation. Um, yeah.
Alright, so I think we have no more questions. Let's move to second phase. So the second phase is about tech tools that technical writing should know how to use in this 2025 era. I mean, AI is now available, everything is now available. I can easily go to AI and upload my files and then to write the articles for me, all the kind of stuff. But what are the tools that a technical writer should have in this 2025? What are the tools that they must know how to use? Sorry. Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I'm not breaking. Am I breaking?
No?
Okay, so I'm clear.
Yes.
I sound clear.
Yeah, you are clear.
Okay, okay. Nice. So you said some of the tools that a technical writer should have. I think for now, I would say the number one tool is AI. Like use AI. A lot of people would drag you sha for using AI if you use it the wrong ways. A lot of like the tools that anyone would ever tell you for like writing, um, you know, AI can help you with it. Maybe at least you need to know about them. But probably everything AI can do. For example, when it comes to you need to be able to visualize the stuff that you're teaching. AI can help you make really basic images in quick time. There are a lot of models for that. You don't have to always be a designer. You just have to have the idea. Um, also when it comes to creating like starter drafts, sometimes you might have like writing block and you just want to like start something. You want to create like an outline, right, on how you want to structure your content. AI can help with that. The rest is left for you to pour in, your knowledge into that piece. AI could help with, editing. You can have certain things you want to look for in your writing, and you ask AI to scale and rate those things in the work that you currently have. AI can help with grammar errors. You can easily fix grammar errors. You can fix spelling errors, spell checks. All these things are some tools like Grammarly or the likes might charge you for. You probably find for free on like these AI tools. So I would say like the very first thing is AI, very very important. I think the other thing that you probably need as a writer is a way to actually see your metrics. So sometimes you might be posting on platforms that don't give you access to do that, or you're posting through like third parties. There are different tools that let you actually see metrics. You can have like Google Analytics and tell them, or you want them to put it on that page where your stuff is, or you could just be like walking through you the popular draft.dev, I'm sorry, the popular dev.tool, hash nodes, these popular, LMS systems, and they will let you actually see these metrics. The reason why is metrics is quite important in writing. You need to know, okay, how many people are viewing this, how many people are finishing this. If someone is going through your work and they get stuck, it happens a lot. People get stuck somewhere, that you know that there's something that is going wrong. You need to look at your comments, what's happening. I remember my very first, no, my second or third post, there was like a comment, and there was some code errors there that I had made, and then I had to like easily correct that and create a comment replying and addressing that, and doing some work to update like the entire project on GitHub as well. So it's a way to get feedback to improve yourself. It's a way to also check what's working, what's not working, how to improve your writing as a whole. And then for people who are looking to go into like product documentation, you have tools that you can start with that are pretty simple, like Gitbook. Some of these tools, Gitbook, there's Docusaurus, there's Readercly, there's a bunch of them. To be honest, just do your research and find the one that you want. Some give more access to customization, some give less. But I think that these days everybody's implementing AI in their platforms. Like AI is everywhere. So some of them would even let you do things with AI on their platform and create documentation quicker. Um, and or you could just like use like your regular chat GPT or the likes. So you have like on these platforms they use Markdown. Markdown is just a structured.
Sorry, we can't hear you again. Am I the one? So can anybody hear me?
Likes. But you don't rely on AI to replicate your writing style. It will still like default to you know writing in an AI way, and some of these platforms might flag that, or you might end up losing some clients for that because they prohibit it. Other clients might not mind since they focus more on like the knowledge itself. And then there's also downsides to using AI to generate content when it comes to SEO. Um, AI content has been shown to have really bad SEO. So SEO just means search engine optimization. So that means that people can easily find it when they search for it. People can easily see your content when they search through Google, Chrome, like these search engines. So just because you want to make yourself viral, avoid use of AI in actual content generation. You can use it in the outlines, generation of outlines. You can use to generate the images, you know, all the simple tasks, part of your writing process. You can do that, but when it comes to the writing, you should do that. Um, and sometimes you might also have situations where you're trying to explain a concept and you need like an analogy, right? You're trying to use an analogy to kind of explain something. AI can help you, suggest some analogies. You can pick the best one, use the analogy in your tutorial or your guide, and yeah, you find that it works pretty well. So yeah, that's those are some of the tools that are off the head, aside from like the documentation tools as well that I think you should keep handy.
Okay. So thank you very much about for that. Does anybody have any question? No questions. Okay. So going forward, I also want to. There's one question that I need to ask, which is, they say ASM that as a technical writer that you have to have a particular skill, which is English. You must know how to speak English well. Like English have to be a part of your skill. So a lot of technical writers just go download English textbooks online, try to read, blah blah blah. So I want to know between English and technical skills like Java, Python, and those stuff. Which is more important for us as a technical writer? Because I mean, we are both commanding each other at the same time, right? But which is more important for us when we are writing?
I'll be very, very honest with you, and please don't, you guys should not drag me for saying this. English is not important. English is not important at all. Um, or it's not the most important thing, at least. I think that your knowledge is more important. Let's not forget that in the past, there were really, really big people who had succeeded without knowing English. For example, when you were trying to probably learn like your first programming language, I'm very sure you had watched like Indian guy YouTube video, and I would say that they are not the best at English, right? They but they are really good at teaching. Is why a lot of people watch their stuff. Um, and then, for example, in the work I do at GitHub, a lot of the work that we write in English, we translate. We have Spanish sessions, we have Japanese sessions, we have German sessions, like and the likes. Um, so yeah, it's not the most important thing. Late last year, there was a guy trending on Twitter. He was creating dev content for developers to understand some things, and he was speaking pidgin English, right? And it was really nice. I really liked it. um so I would say it's important when it comes to matching with clients anyways. Some clients might have their guide and they're really important. They're really, really strict about like the English. Then yes, it's that important, right? For finding jobs. But if you're talking about raw content writing, raw technical writing, to be honest, the technical part is what is very important. However, you can write, if you can write German, if you can write Spanish, if you can write Pidgin English, or if your English is bad and you just want it to be good, use Grammarly. Grammarly will correct it for you. Use AI to correct it for you. You don't need to be an expert on English. Like me, I'm not an expert in Spanish, but I translate with AI to Spanish and you know, give people to learn. And no one will ever tell me that as a technical writer, Spanish is very important for me. I'm sure no one would respond to that as sensible. So, yeah, English is not important. No need for the English textbooks. Throw away them. They're not important at all.
Uh, all right. So okay, fine. All right. So does anybody have any question before we move to the next section? If you have any question, you can unmute yourself or raise your hand. All right. That's after I'm done. All right. So now we should the last section actually. We should talk about. Sorry. We should talk about where to like freelance as a as technical writers, right? We are looking for where we can write our poem, we can write, and the people come over there, get paid, and that kind of stuff. So if it's very good if you have like a poem. When I say I mean a plug, like a site where you can give us, where you can tell us to go to, where we can just can check, like Ashnode, like Medium pays for writing, but I mean you have to upgrade. of course. But is there any other sites? Are there any other sites we can just go to like see where we can write freelancing and that kind of stuff?
Okay, since this is like the last section, I'm just going to take my time. Um, at least this was like really important for majority of us here who's like are trying to make money from like this thing. You know, I have written, I was like, it's getting boring, right? At least let me be writing from fancy restaurants and drinking coffee or like wine and being happy, making dollars or making really good naira. So I'm going to dig deep into this. Okay, so for me, my very first writing gig was from a company called Socius. Socius, that's their name. That was my very first writing gig. I had bombed these people, Twilio. I've,
No, we are
I had
saying.
messaged
Oh, okay.
Twilio, begged them. I wanted to write for them. They kept saying no, that my writing skills weren't at the level that they wanted. I hadn't written about some certain concepts that they thought I understood, and to an extent, they were right, right. And so I kept on reaching out to people. One important thing is you should never get tired of reaching out. Like if there's someone that could use your skills indirectly, directly, if there's a product, there's a company like that could use your skills, like keep reaching out. Like reach out, let them know what you can do and so on. So for socials, I reached out to them, talked to like their head of I think it was their head of DevRel, and we spoke a bit, and then he told me that, oh, um, they did have a blog, although there weren't a lot of writers on there, but they didn't want to engage me fully because I hadn't worked for anybody prior to that in writing. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. You know what? Let's do this. I'll write my first two pieces for you for free, and then afterwards you can start paying me like what you pay your other writers. And he was really happy with that. The first one, he had a lot of feedback. The second one, it actually went pretty well, and they were really impressed. And I wrote like one or two more for them before I started getting more and more gigs from other people. The second one I wrote for was Fauna. This was through referral. A friend was writing for them. He referred me. This is all about reaching out to people using your network. A friend referred me and started writing for them. I think they paid me the most at the time from all the. I think one of their pay was bigger than like two or three of my writing for like socials. So that was a really big deal for me, and it was quite regular because it was coming like weekly or bi-weekly. So I was always having some extra funds on hand, and I was always excited to
You know how much
obviously write
can
the next
22K does
piece.
now?
So yeah, the first tip: keep reaching out to people, reach out to your network. Um, that's really really important. And then to make it more focused, reach out to products or companies that have either a product that they want to document, whether it's a dev tool that needs documentation for devs to be able to use it, or it's a product that needs some certain form of marketing, whether it's blogs. Like anytime people ask me for gigs, I always like, bro, just go on LinkedIn and like there's a product that is trying to grow their blog. You check and you see that their blogs they haven't posted for like three weeks. That meets them. They'll probably be happy because you're happy to do it, right? And they don't want to go through the stress of hiring someone to do that. The hiree just literally came to them, right? On their LinkedIn DM. So a lot of companies will love to save that money. Um, of looking for, because the hiring process takes a while, and they think that maybe it's also too much effort. Maybe the blog is not the top thing on their list right now, but they want to kind of still be doing it on the lower level. You can go there. Some of them want to market, some of them want to do a whole bunch of things. There are some devs working in really big companies like Microsoft, or like head of products or head of devel or head of people that want to talk about some of their things, some of their experience, some of their knowledge, but they just don't have the time because they are working like freaking 80 hours a week or something because they're paying them really well. Some of those people won't mind sacrificing some of their income to pay someone to help them write out this experience for them. So they have like maybe really short meetings with you. They tell you what they want you to write, and then you write it for them, and that is more like ghostwriting. So I would always tell people that they should create the opportunities you're looking for. Don't wait for one link or one person's posting job. I'll even be very frank. Majority of the really good writing gigs or jobs I've done in the past, um, if people always ask me, how you dey apply, how do you dey do your things. To be honest, I just reach out to people that I think they're interested. If there's someone looking to buy something, then I'm also there to sell. So that's how it works. That's like the secret. Aside from that, there's this like starter project. There's this starter GitHub board that a couple of my friends and I started using at the start of our careers. I don't know how relevant it is right now, but I know that it's being maintained. So that's the link. Um, I'm just going to like share my screen so you guys can see. All right, so yeah, we have like a list of community writer programs. This is like there's like a lot starting from A. As you can see, there's a lot to bomb, like a lot. A to W. And as we get gigs, we create pull requests, and as you can see, there are even more and more pull requests for more people to add more stuff to this. 3 weeks ago, and the like. So people are constantly monitoring and updating this. For the ones I've written for, I've written for Airbytes, I've written for Archetype. I was even the one that added them. I've written for Circle CI. I've written for Draft.dev. Um, although they are very, I left Draft.dev due to like some kind of issue. I'm not going to speak on that here, but advice: don't sublet work. If you have too much work, just reject it or refer somebody. Don't give someone else to do it for you if you know the person is not going to do it well. Um, I've written for Fauna. I've written for Hasura. I tried to write for Honey Badger, but they didn't respond to me. They just cut their response midway. Also, I didn't finish the work I was doing for Login Radius. I had too much on my hands. Um, yeah, let's see. Is there any other one? I've written for Refine. A couple of my friends still write for Refine, so I'm very sure that they're active right now. Side Point as well. I'm also Sanity.io. I'm still part of like their program, but their list of topics doesn't come as regularly as I would want. Um, let's see, is there any other one? Um, I've written for Typing DNA. I did not complete my work for Vulture, but I had a friend who finished it and they paid him. I think it was even more than this $800 that they paid him. So yeah, these are some of the companies you can reach out to. All right.
Yo, homo. See, as you're sharing the link like this, I had to like, okay, someone have a question. All right, so okay, okay,
Okay,
all right,
good afternoon,
okay,
everyone.
all right.
Can you please walk us through the process, like your steps when it comes to writing? What steps do you take? Like, how do you research? Do you make use of AI? Where do you get inspirations from and stuff like that?
Um, so I think earlier I was talking about writing on what you have expertise on. So I would usually like, for example, things that are on this page I sent to you guys. I would reach out to the ones that I know that I have like the skills for their product. For example, I started writing for Archetype. It's on this list. Archetype is a company, although they have been acquired by another company called ClickHouse, if I'm not mistaken, ClickHouse. So they had a blog, they had a product, they're trying to market their product, they're trying to get more developers in there, and they are fully based on database visualizations, optimizations. It's just like a tool to work with your database without actually having the stress to like go in depth and connect with the actual database. Um, and so they loved the work I was doing already. I had written certain stuff on like, you know, database work, especially with like the geospatial database stuff with that with Django. So they saw that I had the expertise and they were confident that I could write for them. So yeah, like I said, they have a very good process for checking if I even have experience on that field. So I would not advise you to write about a weird Web3 topic or like AI topic that you don't have the experience either using practically or so on. Um, if you want to write about basics and also highlight that you're learning. People love that as well, but stick to what you know, right? Once you know something very well, feel free to write about it. And then when it comes to research, obviously your knowledge has to be evolving. Take continuously take tutorials, take read blogs. At least for me on Google, I have like Google, they constantly publish stuff that I want to read about, and Google always tells me about it. Go on Twitter, look at what people are talking about. One that actually really helped me was Medium. On Medium, if you actually register and you select a bunch of things that you want to read about, when people publish stuff there, you read about it. Um, Also participate in hackathons, you learn how people are doing things. Just be part of the community, to be honest. Learn more, do more. As you're doing more, you find that you don't have enough knowledge. That is the only way you can improve your what you know. And then sometimes in very rare occasions, try to step outside of your comfort zone and accept some gigs that maybe you don't have full knowledge on, but you know that I should be able to learn this thing and also write it pretty quickly. So, for example, that could be me having knowledge on database, but probably not having knowledge like that on transactions, how database transactions work, or how database rollbacks and the likes work, um, or like some really deeper topics there. Having the foundational knowledge is to an extent is good enough, and you know that this is something you can grasp and you can easily practice within a short time where you need to put out this. And if you're writing for yourself, you can easily document your learning process and put that as part of like what you're writing. If you're writing for a client, you can, you know, just structure that really well. And also be very happy to ask for help, to be honest. When I was starting some of my, because Fauna, the friend that referred me, he has been writing for them for a while. So when I started writing for Fauna, he was helping me a lot because I was very, very new to like serverless databases. I knew how to work with serverless with databases in general, especially the servered ones. Or I knew how to work with like MongoDB, the document databases, but like serverless ones were like kind of new to me. So I had help from my friends, and they actually things that I would have searched gone on Google, like done a lot of searching, try and error, try and error, try and error, or maybe not even found the proper YouTube video. They just like pointed it out pretty quickly for me. Um, and so be happy to ask for help. Sometimes people used to turn shy, but it's part of the process. When they're used to turn, still be following them, turning with them, they're turning with you, be following them and be turning. And you learn the thing eventually, and you'll be happy that you went through all of that. And then it will be memorable for you as well. You remember that, oh, when I was learning this thing, this is what happened to me. So it will be hard for you to forget about that thing, and you can probably write a bit more about it. But yeah, that is how you do research. AI is not always the best place to do research. If you are looking for quick answers, like AI will give you summaries. But to be fair, AI will only give you an answer based on what you asked. Um, you need to know if you're asking the right questions. Um, For example, if I ask AI, how do I build a house? Give me the step by steps on how to build a house. AI might literally miss the step where I have to probably get like an approval if I'm in an estate environment, to get an approval from like the estate management on if the house fits what they want. Right. I can just be going full flare and already building the house. People are already carrying the blocks. It might not even tell you that I need laborers. Maybe in Nigeria I need laborers, abroad maybe you don't need, maybe you need engineers there. It might not give you like the exact specs of what you're looking for. Um and so you have to be asking the right questions. So you can be saying, in Nigeria, where and and AI will answer you. So it gives you quick answers, but for research, I don't think it's the best thing for you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ochuko, for the call. Thank you for honoring us. I really appreciate. I mean, I've learned a lot today, and I'm currently on those git and on that GitHub repository, trying to check what I can do. Thank you very much for sharing with us, and I think that's anybody have any questions? We're almost done. Just 2 more minutes, and then we'll close the questions. All right. All right. Thank everyone for joining. Thank Ochuko for joining. Thank you very much for my invitation. Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you. Take care.
I mean, we not come off for corner. Don't have the city on the call. Joseph, give you call.
Did how are you? Well done, guys. You guys really did a great job today. I really learned a lot. Well done.
Yeah. Do you have the GitHub link with you?
Honestly,
Do you have the
I
GitHub?
really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Akelechi.
Yeah, you're welcome. Do you have the GitHub link
Yeah,
with you?
yeah, sure.
Okay, you got
Start
it.
already.
All right, let's go and keep bumping. Let's go and keep bumping. One
Oh,
side.
yeah. All right, now. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Joseph, why Joseph? Why are you guys your hand, Joseph? For what?
I need to take permission, of course. I'm seeing one funny. I'm seeing one funny name there. Is that Oderi De Henry?
Now you now.
Eh,
Now you
yeah.
now.
Now make I hear his voice. Speak up, guy.
He don't come out for corner.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yes, now.
All right, now.
Yeah, now.
I was kind of thinking. I wanted to boost your speaker with questions, but
You supposed
I
don't ask
wanted the
now.
call. I wanted the call to end as soon as possible.
You should have asked.
All right, now.
Yeah,
We'll
now.
talk later.
Bye bye.
All right. Goodbye.